Hi, this is Marcus Egger. This video is about a presentation that I did at several conferences this spring 2009. It's a Silverlight sample application, and it happens to be a Silverlight sample application that's a business application type of app, but it also uses an interface that I like a lot for a web experience. So that's what I wanted to show you in this particular example. Here's the sample running. What it is, it's a list of sports teams. So here down the left hand side we have a small list of teams, and the idea then is that the user could come in here, click on one of those teams, and then in turn see the individual players that are in fact rostered for that team. Now, as you can see, overall the look of this is a little bit unusual. It's not something that you typically see in a web application. It's something that is very difficult to do or impossible to do without a technology such as Silverlight. So for instance, one of the things that I have done here is the entire list, which is based on a list box, is itself slightly skewed by a few degrees. Not very much, but just enough to look kind of cool and unusual. The list box itself also has a nice animation effect, so whenever I fill the list box with new data, the data animates itself into place, which makes for a really cool effect, I believe. And it's also very fast, so I can go back and forth between different ones without interrupting the user's flow of events. So that's nice. The transparency in this particular example I like the dark blue semi-transparent items inside the list box. I like the overlapping of the list items. I like the way the highlight only shows kind of the outside and a little bit on the main item, but it's very intuitive what's selected, but it's not very strong and in your face. It just tends to look very professional. I also like that the list box itself tends to just have this kind of hole into the background, so while items are animating in, you kind of see through to the background, but as soon as they fill in, you can actually see the data, not through to the background anymore. Of course, everything else like scroll bars and so forth still work. No difference there. It also has this little feature up here where I can start filtering the players, so I can type MA and I only see Mark and Marcus, and once again the animation is still in place and shows the individual items. Of course, I can also drill into one of those players and, typical Silverlight business application, start typing things in here. Let's actually go to the file as and show how that works, and immediately the background updates itself. Of course, now I could hit OK or cancel. Now, what's interesting about this thing here is it's a pop-up, which is traditionally one of the things that are difficult to do in a web application. It's always hard to bring up a pop-up dialog. You have to use a lot of client-side scripting or pretty fancy navigation to do that in an HTML application. So it was nice to be able to do that very easily in Silverlight. Also, note that this pop-up window automatically takes on the slightly skewed overall design of the application, which once again I think looks cool in this scenario. And the way this is done here is the actual overall Silverlight page has a simple transform applied, so absolutely everything that is inside that particular page will automatically take on that skew and get that look. So nothing had to be done special inside this particular dialog here or any of the list boxes or text boxes or anything. It just takes on that render transform from its parent page. We'll also see a little bit of the styling in action here. Here are two styled buttons. These are just regular Silverlight buttons, but then I decided to change the style for all the buttons throughout the application. Similar, this element up here that in this case shows the team, the players that play for this team, this is just part of the list box itself, and it's just styled into the list box for the list box to then display a heading for the entire list box, and the style makes for that. So I could apply a completely different style to the whole application, and then every list box inside the app would look completely different. So that's the quick version of this sample. I'll be uploading the code to my blog at marcusegger.com. It's markusegger.com, so you can download this and play with it and see the actual code of how this is done. Enjoy!